Hello, friends. A very good evening and welcome to today's expert chat. I am Divya Bharti and I'm a part of the Helofy creative team. Helofy started with a motto to help and empower all women who are deciding to enter into the beautiful journey of motherhood. As you all know, that Helofy is the largest parenting platform for Indian babies, moms, and pregnant moms who have thousands of questions, yet they are struggling to find answers to them. So today, we are here to find answers to one of the most important topics, that is vaccination. I keep interacting with a lot of newbie moms and new moms on a daily basis. And they also had the similar questions which I used to have, like why vaccines are important, why we need to have those needles poked into us like when we were a child, why can't there be just one injection for all vaccines, and so on. But slowly and gradually, one comes to know how important immunization is. And today, we are here to celebrate World Immunization Week and discuss how vaccinations are important for new moms and your babies, and the importance of timely vaccination and following the vaccination card. I really want to thank GSK for supporting the Public Awareness Initiative for Immunization. To discuss the topic in detail, we, for the first time on Helofy, have with us Dr. Chetan Trivedi and Dr. Rituprata Kundu, who are here to share their expertise in this field. Dr. Chetan Trivedi, he is practicing pediatrician and neonatologist in Neha Children Hospital, Kankaria, Ahmedabad. And Dr. Rituprata Kundu, he is the Professor of Pediatrics and Honorary Secretary in the Institute of Child Health, Kolkata. Thank you so much, doctors, for joining us today.
Thank you.
Thank you. So, to start off with here, I just wanted to know your thoughts on immunization and vaccines. Dr. Chetan, can you please enlighten us?
Yeah, immunization and vaccine is the integral part of the society and as a human being, I must say, because vaccination is it makes you safe for from lot many diseases, and it now in the era of COVID, you all know that what is the importance of vaccination. So I think nobody needs any explanation that where should we put the vaccines in our life, because now people are craving for vaccination and we are waiting for that. So vaccination and immunization is a very important integral part of our society and our journey and our life. So, and we are fortunate that we are the ambassadors for this vaccination and immunization as a pediatricians, because we are dealing with vaccination day in and day out. So that's I can just share as a beginning remark for the vaccination and immunization.
Thank you so much, Dr. Chetan. Dr. Kundu, can you please enlighten your thoughts?
First of all, I'd like to tell to the parents that your child's safety remains upon your safety.
Yeah.
So you should follow all the safety norms during the COVID period. And
Yes.
now the vaccine is being offered, COVID vaccine, to all adults of India. So do try and take the vaccine. But there's no COVID vaccine for your child. But in this, you should not forget the other vaccines which the child needs. So you have to protect your child by giving proper vaccines. And also, again, I stress your protection is the most vital thing for your child's protection. So take all the necessary precaution. And as everywhere I say, there's a small dictum: follow SMS. One S stands for sanitization. The M stands for mask. Another S stands for safe distancing. So always remember SMS. Don't go to places where it is overcrowded. In fact, don't go out if it's not essential, and take the necessary precautions as has been advocated everywhere.
Thank you so much, Doctor. It was great hearing that. So, to start off with here, I have few questions which our new moms wanted to know about. So, Dr. Kundu, to start off, can you please let us know more about World Immunization Week 2021 and its theme, that is vaccinations brings us closer?
So every year, it's at the end of last week of April, has been celebrated as the World Immunization Day, just to make people aware the importance of vaccination and immunization. Vaccines have saved millions of lives across the globe for the last 2 centuries, and it has been the most cost effective intervention mankind has ever discovered. But it's a pity, in spite of all this, 20 million children do not receive the vaccine which they are supposed to have. And also, we see many of the children, when they grow up into adolescents and adults, they miss so many vaccines. Now, the entire effort of the whole world seems to be after COVID vaccine. But in this mainly, you should not forget the importance of the routine vaccines. I'll tell you a very interesting fact. During the Ebola outbreak in Africa, the entire effort of the African government was to save against Ebola. And in the meantime, they have missed out the routine vaccines, say like measles and polio. At the end of the epidemic or the pandemic, it was found that it's not Ebola, it is measles and polio which killed more children than Ebola. So there lies the importance of taking the vaccines and what vaccines has brought us closer. Over last 2 centuries, I have told you, vaccine has saved so many. We are at the verge of conquering two important diseases. One is polio and measles, and only vaccines are can save us or can deliver us to the healthier future. So it brings close to healthy future. And I again emphasize that in this trying times, you should not miss out the routine vaccines. It gives a lot of protection everywhere.
Thank you so much, Dr. Kundu, for answering that. So, Dr. Chetan, can you please let us know the details of vaccines and how they work? Like, what has been the contribution of vaccination to humanity?
Divya, we know that the vaccines, they work just they are simulating a natural infection. Suppose we get some infection, then what will be the natural reaction of our body? Our body will try to nullify that infection. How? We have our own immune system or defense system. Just like the country is having our own defense, somebody is penetrating in our territory, our defense system will become active and they will try to nullify the attack from outside. Similarly, our immune system will start generating antibodies. You know, they are the proteins, they are trying to kill that antigen which has been coming by the way of infection. So our antibodies, they are generated with the infection, and if we are having a strong antibody response, then we will definitely conquer that infection. So what we do, we got infection, we got antibody, and we got saved. But now at the cost of having a disease, we got the disease and then we got antibody. So what a vaccine does, it simulates the infection. So it gives something like antigenic stimulation, just like what we get in infection, but it is not in the tunes or level of the causing disease. So you give the infection to the body in certain amount, and that will stimulate your immune system, that will stimulate the antibody production, and that antibodies will be utilized if you come across the infection next time. Or you have the infection like thing like vaccination, they will have that antibodies in the memory cells, the cells of immune system, and those memory cells will be activated when you get a second infection. So what happens if you get a second infection, that memory cell will start producing antibody and that will kill the antigen. So the vaccination works by this. Now what you want to give by you want to infect the body, you will give either the virus or bacteria or whatever germs as a whole. How can you give as a whole? You can give it live, but you can make it attenuated. What is attenuation? You can make it so weak that it will not be able to cause the disease in our body. If we introduce it into the body, that will like measles. We are giving virus, but they are being attenuated. So that will not cause the disease, but it will stimulate the immune system. Similarly, if you have suppose a protein, we all know about the COVID vaccine. What we are having? We are targeting the S protein, because S protein of the COVID virus, that is a cause of the infection and all the damages in the body. So we give something like S protein by whatever way we can give to the body, and our body produces antibody, and that antibody helps you whenever there is a second infection. So this is the way our vaccines and the immune system works. Now, second question was, what has been the contribution of the vaccination to the humanity? Now we all have witnessed that none of us, most of us, have seen the smallpox. Have you seen smallpox? No. Have you seen the acute poliomyelitis? No. We hardly see, even doctors, we don't see the tetanus patients. So tetanus is, there is a jerky movement, patient is conscious, is painful. So we are not seeing it. So this is a success of the vaccination. See, vaccination save almost 5 lives a minute. So millions of the human beings have been saved because of vaccines. And we are fortunate that almost 25, more than 25 diseases are now vaccine preventable diseases. So we have vaccination against those diseases. So those are the vaccine preventable. Suppose I have get some infection, I will first look at it whether it is vaccine preventable. So that is way we can conquer that without getting the infection. So this is what the vaccination has done to our humanity. And yes, it is controlling the mortality. So vaccine prevents the deaths. Vaccine prevents the morbidity because it prevents the infection, rather a disease, and it prevents the complication. Suppose you don't get infection of measles, definitely you will not get measles, and even you don't get pneumonia because of measles. So you prevent the infection and you mortality, morbidity, as well as complication. So either you eradicate. So what you have done? Polio eradication. There is no polio cases. So that is done with the vaccine. Smallpox, no smallpox. Elimination, you can eliminate the disease, and lastly you can prevent the infection. So vaccine is a very, very beautiful weapon against all these diseases. So that's what vaccine has done, and we expect still a vaccine to do the wonders to come out of this COVID crisis.
Thank you so much, Dr. Chetan, for the detailed answer. So, coming to you, Dr. Kundu, please let us know what are the important vaccines which are recommended by Indian Academy of Pediatrics, that is IAP, for pediatrics.
So, starting from birth till infancy, childhood, adolescence, and even young adulthood and old ages, we have vaccines.
Yes.
It is the newborn baby and infants whose immune system is weak. They don't have much defense against the diseases. So that's the reason why there are so many vaccines during the first few years of life. At birth, usually we start with three diseases, namely BCG for tuberculosis, oral polio vaccine, and hepatitis B, that which causes jaundice. And then from 6 weeks we start. In 6 weeks we give certain vaccines. Number one is DPT, which includes diphtheria, pertussis, that means whooping cough, and tetanus. Along with that, we give an injectable polio. Hib is another organism which causes various infection, including meningitis, pneumonia. And along with that, we give another two important vaccines. One is rotavirus vaccine to prevent against diarrhea, and a pneumococcal conjugate vaccine. This we start at 6 weeks, then we give another dose 4 weeks after, that is 10 weeks and 14 weeks. By the time your child reaches 6 months, he is due for influenza vaccine. Influenza vaccine is very important during COVID days because influenza is a disease which affects the lungs or the respiratory system. And COVID is also a disease which affects mainly the respiratory system. And if there's a combination of both, would be a deadly combination. And from 6 months, we start with two shots of influenza vaccine, which should be given 1 month apart. And thereafter comes the typhoid vaccine. It's a conjugate typhoid vaccine because typhoid is though not given in the Western countries, but it is very rampant in our country. That's the reason why we give typhoid. And again, in the 9 months, we give another combination vaccine, that is MMR. One M stands for measles, another M stands for mumps, and the R is a rubella, which is also known as German measles. And as your child steps into his first birthday, he is ready for another important vaccine, that is hepatitis A, which protects against the jaundice which is transmitted from water. Again, at 15 months, we give another shot of MMR, and also we start with another very important vaccine, that is chickenpox we give. And by the time 16 to 18 months, he is ready for the booster doses of the vaccines which we have given in the childhood period, that means 6 weeks. So we give a booster dose of triple antigen, booster dose of Hib, and a booster dose of this pneumococcal conjugate vaccine. And thereafter, there are certain other vaccines also, special vaccines which we give in certain situations. Say for Eastern India, eastern parts of India and southern India, we also give Japanese encephalitis vaccine. And at the between the age of 4 to 6 years, we give a second booster dose of DPT and injectable polio virus. And as your child steps into his 10th birthday, we give a TDAP vaccine, that is another dose of tetanus along with pertussis and diphtheria. But you should also remember the girl child needs another very important vaccine, that is cervical cancer vaccine, which is supposed to be given at 9 years of age. So it seems very cumbersome at the beginning, but you see, as you grow older, the number of vaccines falls down sharply, and and it is the only way by which the parents can prevent deadly diseases. The money you spend on vaccine is far less than the money which you are going to spend if the child has developed the disease. So remember that prevention is always better than cure.
Thank you so much for the details. It was really helpful. So, Dr. Chetan, can you please add the important vaccines recommended beyond adolescent age?
So I think once we have finished the adolescence age, then we
Yes.
come to the adulthood.
Yeah.
Now, so till say adolescent, as Dr. Kundu mentioned, that 9 to 14 years is a real time to go for the cervical cancer vaccine. And
Yes.
then once you finish the adolescent age group, you go for adulthood. Now the question will arise: why the adult will require immunization? Because we know now we know that we want to get protected from COVID. That's why the adults, they are coming ahead of the pediatric population, because the pediatric populations, they are suffering from the disease or getting infected with COVID, but unfortunately it is not where that severe, or that there is no mortality, very less mortality, or the kids, they don't die of the COVID that frequently. So we are targeting elderly population. So what happens, that suppose the person has taken the vaccination in the childhood and he grows up, then there is the antibodies which will go down. So there is a waning of antibody. So there you need a vaccination. Second thing, as the aging occurs, there is a immunosenescence. Like your immunity goes down. So if you go to more than 60, 70, you again go to the immune deficiency, immunosenescence stage. So at that time you need a vaccination, particularly suppose you get pneumonia or influenza. Those vaccine who are, we have a disease where bimodal peak. First 5 years and then more than 65, 70 years. So these are the ages where we require a certain vaccination. Then there are adult population who are high risk, like a doctors or a paramedics who are working with the blood. So they will read a hepatitis B vaccine if they have not been received previously. Then you have a vaccine which is all not given. There is a population who has not received any vaccine in the past. There also you need to give in that particular adult population. That's called vaccine immunization naive population. Now, sometimes you must have heard that the grandpa and grandmother, they are going to US for the delivery of their daughter or son, daughter. There they need a certain vaccination because they want to protect the infection of pertussis to the child, newborn who is coming. So there you need to take a vaccines like a Tdap vaccine, that is tetanus, diphtheria, and pertussis vaccine. And finally, there is certain vaccines which are specifically for adulthood, that is a zoster, herpes zoster. That doesn't occur in a pediatric population. So the adulthood requires the vaccination in particular these situations. Now, what are the vaccinations which are needed in adulthood? So we know the first and foremost, we should not forget the COVID vaccines. And then to add into it, we can take a Tdap vaccine, that is tetanus, diphtheria, and pertussis vaccine. You should get the influenza and pneumonia vaccine in a high-risk population. Pneumonia particularly more than 50 years. And if you have some comorbidity, like you have diabetes, you have heart disease, or you have hypertension, you should take, and otherwise more than 65 years, you should take a pneumonia vaccine and an influenza vaccine. You should take a MMR vaccine, a hepatitis A, and even females, they should take a cervical cancer vaccine, even if they're out of adolescent age group, and herpes zoster. So these are the vaccines which are needed for in an adult population. And if you talk about the adolescent to adult, if you take these vaccines, they will definitely help you out.
Thank you so
Divya,
much,
I want to make another point. These
Yes.
days, it is very common to have pets, especially
Okay.
dogs and cats.
Yes.
They almost every household have it. So, and including Dr. Chetan also has a dog. So I request the parents, if you have a dog in your house, I think you should be immunized against rabies vaccine also. That's
I
another
will
important addition.
I will go beyond it. Even if you don't have pets, but definitely you are having going to have dogs in the society in the street. So your kids will be at the high risk of the dog bite. So we can go for pre-exposure prophylaxis of rabies voluntarily. Whether it is not compulsory, but we should take that. We should give the our kids because they are at high risk of getting a dog bite or animal bite.
Yeah, as Dr. Kundu said, prevention is better than cure.
Thank you.
Yes.
Right.
Thank you so much, Dr. Kundu. So, talking about the current scenario where each individual is actually afraid to step their foot outside home, Dr. Kundu, how important is timely vaccination? Like, why should any child's vaccination schedule not suffer any delays?
The vaccines has been designed after giving much thought. The ideal time, if you, because vaccines starts very early in life, because that's the time when the children are very much vulnerable. Their immune system is very weak. So if you take vaccine at ideal time, there are a number of benefits. Number one, it gives early protection, which is very much needed because of the poor immune system. It gives the best protection. Best protection means maximal level of protection needed in that age, because that's the age where you need maximal protection. And it gives a long term protection. You stimulate your memory cells so that they remember it for the rest of the life. And not only that, vaccines will prevent complications of the disease, which are very dangerous at times. In fact, influenza does not kill a person. It is the following pneumonia which kills a person. So, ideal time will give early protection, best protection, long-term protection, prevent complication. And another point is that not only the child will be protected, the society will be protected, because if you give vaccine, the spread of the disease spread is being halted. So that's the reason why it is very important to go for timely vaccines. Under no circumstances, you should not delay or defer vaccines.
Okay. Thank you so much, Dr. Kundu. Yeah, please,
Yeah.
Dr. Chetan.
When we talked about adult, I think this your site is of more of a females and moms rather.
Yes,
So I think
exactly.
one group of the adult, that is a pregnant and pre-pregnant ladies, that has to be taken care of, because pre-pregnant lady has to be through with all the vaccines, because those diseases like measles or a chicken pox or influenza, these all diseases, suppose hepatitis A, if it occurs during the pregnancy, it is going to be a very bad effect on the baby as well as the mother. So they should be through with the all vaccination before the pregnancy, like rubella, because rubella vaccine is must, MMR vaccine, because otherwise that will cause the congenital rubella syndrome to the child. And during the pregnancy, what is important is influenza vaccine, DTaP vaccine, and if you have a dog bite or something, rabies vaccine. So these three vaccines are important for the pregnant ladies also. So these are very important group of vaccines, particularly for females, pre-pregnant and during the pregnancy.
Okay. Thank you so much, Dr. Chetan, for pointing that out. So, like talking about that only, Dr. Chetan, can you let us know what is the importance of vaccination card and what has to be done if the vaccination card is lost?
See, vaccination card is just like your passport. So
Yes.
it's a health passport. We should not ever think of losing it, because that is a passport. It's a very important document. So I would advise the all the moms or other people out there that your child's vaccination card has to be preserved very very carefully. So what you can do is, definitely nowadays pediatricians or a government machineries, they are giving a very nice passport. Even government is giving the passport, and pediatricians or all the doctors who are going to vaccination, they have vaccination card. So that card has to be preserved. Nowadays, because of this digitalization, everybody is keeping a record. Even doctor is keeping a record in their computer, giving a soft copy as well as a hard copy. So you have to take a picture of that, whatever vaccination they have been taken. So you just keep a picture and upload on Google or on your mail, so that by chance if you miss this particular documentation, you may, or you should have the backup of that. So that is very important to keep, because many times what happens, you forget the vaccination, and if you have to restart it, you need to have, suppose you move from one place to another, suppose from Delhi you have moved to Mumbai, you change the doctor, so you should have your vaccination card. By chance if you have lost it, I think if you have kept it preserved like this, that will help you. And secondly, your doctor must be having the record in the computer, that you should be you can take it from there. So vaccination card is very important, and we have to preserve it like a passport.
Okay. Thank you so much for the information, Dr. Chetan. So, Dr. Kundu, as you were explaining the importance of timely vaccination, so due to this COVID-19, a lot of people, a lot of mothers have either missed or delayed vaccination. So, what happens when one misses their vaccination schedule?
So it is a very common problem. Often the mothers come to me and say, the grandmother and grandparents have said, we as a child has never taken so much vaccine, and why our grandchild needs so much vaccine. But they forget a very important thing. Diseases in those days was rampant. We in our student days, we had a separate ward for polio, and we used to see children with lots of paralysis of the legs, arms, and whatnot, and they were a burden for the rest of the life for their family, the society, and even the country. But these days, none of the hospitals has a polio ward. So there lies the importance that you should never ever miss the vaccine. Vaccine should be taken in time. But at times, say because of this lockdown and other things, it might so happen going out it gets very difficult. You don't have a proper taxi or a app cab to take your children to the doctor. By chance, if you miss, your body, our human immune system is such that it has a memory system. So once you give a vaccine, it remembers for the rest of the life. Under no circumstances you are going to start afresh. So you start again from where you have left. So there lies the importance that you should complete the vaccines once you have left. You go and consult with your doctor. He will tell you how it is done. And he's not going to, people often think, I have missed, I have to start again from the beginning. No, you have to never begin from the scratch. You start again where you left. And you should complete the vaccines because, as Chetan has said, it is a health passport. You cannot afford to lose your passport. So also you cannot afford to lose your health passport. So let it be with you completed all the time.
Okay. Thanks a lot, Dr. Kundu. Your answer will be very, very helpful for all the parents here. So, Dr. Chetan, for kids, right, like today, there are too many vaccines these days. So, in your opinion, all these vaccines, are they important?
This is a very common question. The relatives, they come to us and ask, sir, are these all vaccines needed? What do you think? So first we have to say this, yes, those vaccines are very much important because all the vaccine preventable disease, we never like our child to suffer from the disease for which we have the protection. Vaccine preventable disease, we would never like our child to have, or other matter of fact, anybody. So we should be giving importance to all. Now the question arises because the government setup, there are certain vaccines are there, and in a private sector there are few more vaccines are there. So in that particular scenario, we should be knowing that government is targeting about all the kids of the country. So they have to look at the disease prevalence and the number of the kids in the country and cost effectiveness. While in private sector, what we do is we are the child which is sitting in front of us is the of utmost important. So he should be given all the privilege to get protected from the any disease which can occur to him. Yes, there are some epidemiological data. Suppose, as Dr. Kundu said, typhoid vaccine, USA people, they are not giving it. So it is not happening there. So they are not giving it. That's a different ball game. But otherwise, whatever diseases are there in our country, we should be giving the vaccine against all of them. Because the vaccination, that will reduce the disease, the disability, and the death, as well as it will lead to cost saving. Because if your child falls sick, ultimately your child may not die, but they will suffer. Secondly, you are working parents and you will lose your workplace, work days, and you all are will be having a tremendous psychological stress. So I think all the vaccines, particularly we have an association of pediatricians of 30,000 pediatricians. We have the Indian Academy of Pediatrics. So we have a guidelines where we suggest that these all are the vaccines which are required for their kids. So they all should be given. So there is nothing like which is important and non-important. They will ask me, doctor, what you will do? I said, I given all the vaccines to my child. So now it's your choice what to do. So that's the importance of all the vaccinations.
Thank you so much, Dr. Chetan. Thanks for that insightful answer. So, Dr. Kundu, nowadays we have also noticed that parents are very much skeptical about giving multiple vaccines and injections to their children. So, according to you, what is the best solution for that?
Parents think that my small kid, they cannot tolerate so many vaccines given at the same time. But you will happy to know that your body has the capability of dealing with thousands of viruses and bacteria even if they attack at the same time. But what we are worried about, we want to save the number of pricks. Your child is not a pin cushion so that we put it every here and there. So to avoid the problem of giving multiple vaccines at the same time or multiple pricks, what we have done, we have come out with the combination vaccine. In the past, combination vaccine was there. For example, triple antigen where you combine three vaccines together: diphtheria, whooping cough, and tetanus. But now we, as days progresses, we are combining more and more vaccine. We have quadrivalent vaccine, means four diseases combined together. We have pentavalent vaccine, five. We have hexavalent vaccine, six. So with this combination vaccines, we save the number of pricks. We save the amount of time you have to come to the pediatrician's office to take the vaccine, and also you have saved the number of days you have to take off from your work. So the only solution to this multiple vaccine is a combination vaccine now, which is freely available in India also.
Thanks for the answer, Dr. Kundu. To add that, Dr. Chetan, can you let us know what are the diseases that combination vaccines help protect the baby from? And also, please tell us about the benefits of these combination vaccines that are available.
See, there are many combination vaccines available. First and foremost, as Dr. Kundu said, that DPT itself, it is a combination of diphtheria, pertussis, and tetanus. If you add, say, pentavalent, which you are having, they are protecting against the five diseases, and hexavalent, there are six diseases. So we have IPV, Hib, hepatitis B, diphtheria, pertussis, and tetanus. So six diseases are under one with single injection. So that's a combination vaccine. There are other vaccines like MMRV, where MMR and the chickenpox vaccine, they are in a combination. So then there were I think hepatitis A and B combination. Twinrix was available. So rather it is available. So there are vaccines which are available in a ready-made form. They are combination vaccine. But I will go beyond it. Suppose your child has missed few vaccines and you are going for a catch-up vaccination. Because of COVID times, that happens that since last 3 months you have missed so many vaccines, and you go to doctor and you say you have to go for co-administration. That means the vaccination, one combination vaccine with other vaccine, or two, three, four vaccines can be given together. So it's nothing like that, that we will give it now, then a one will come again after 1 month. So co-administration as combination vaccine, both are going to be very useful, because that will decrease your visit to the doctors, and you would not like to go to the doctors or even go out of the home for any purpose, particularly with a healthy child or a healthy person. So the combination vaccine is the answer for everything. So you should go for it as and when it is available, wherever it
Thank,
is available.
thank you so much, Dr. Chetan. It was very helpful. Dr. Kundu, as per your experience, please share your thoughts on why these days parents miss or delay vaccination, as if we have come across a lot of times like with these issues.
Other than financial constraints, the one of the most important reason for missing vaccines, people are afraid to go to the doctor's chamber, thinking that their his or her child will catch the infection, that is COVID. So, but there are certain norms if you follow properly, especially for the doctors, that you can avoid COVID. Always come to the doctor for vaccination by taking an appointment. Don't come without an appointment. It's better to wait outside rather than going inside and wait inside the waiting hall, because and come in time, so that you don't have to wait or you don't have to mingle with other people. Talk with the doctor and ensure that your visit should be an immunization visit only, where sick children are not seen. This is the second important point. Don't send your child with anybody who is above 60 years age. So either, so that's very important. And let one accompany the child. Let us not the two or three person accompanying a single child. So one should accompany a child. The accompanying person should be less than 60 years. He or she himself or herself should not suffer from any of the diseases. Try to avoid maximum time spending here. Keep your time very short and don't touch things here and there. Keep a sanitizer ready with you. And once it is over, try to pay in a digital form rather than going for paper money, and try to come out as early as possible. So if you take these few precautions, I think you can save your child from COVID. And also as a doctor, we have responsibility that we should never see sick patients and normal patients, or immunization clinic should not be done in together. Either they should have different places or different timing. The health staff which are used with the doctors should be also healthy. They should not themselves suffer from any disease. And proper sanitization, proper wearing of masks and other things should be ensured. And if you take this simple precaution, the chances of landing up with COVID is very, very, very less.
Thank yes, sir, Dr.
Can I,
Chetan.
can I add few, like there are reasons for delaying or missing the vaccination, like the person can forget their own anniversary, so they can forget the vaccination of their kids also. So it is very difficult to keep the pace of the remembering the vaccination. So after 1.5 years it happens, whenever there is a booster they forget the vaccination. So I think there should be some reminder system for that. And many times what happens, the last time baby has been vaccinated and there was some fever or something like that, so they keep that thing in mind, they will avoid the vaccination. No, they will go on a Saturday because Saturday Sunday is holiday. So there are reasons for delaying it. So that should not be, because these are the compulsory thing and they should be taken on time, and on time vaccination is very important. So if you forget it, then you should have a reminder system, and you should not take a bed because there will be some issues with the last vaccination.
Thank you so much, doctors. Now, even our audience are eagerly asking questions, so I'll just pick from there.
Great.
Dr. Chetan, for you,
Yeah.
Anushka from Noida, she's asking, like, after my child has been vaccinated, when does the immunity kick in and how long it does it last?
Okay. As soon as your child is getting vaccination, the immune system will be kicked. So they will be
Okay.
stimulated. But the antibodies which will protect your child from that particular disease will take some time. Now it depends on which particular vaccines you have been given. Suppose if you are giving a DPT vaccines, we know that DPT vaccines that there are 3 or 6 vaccines, hexavalent vaccine we are giving. Then there are 3 doses monthly. So after you finish the dose, of course, then after 15 days or 1 month, your immune system will be sufficient enough to produce the antibody that will protect the child. Suppose you have a typhoid vaccine, there is a single dose. You give it, and after 15 days, 21 days, the antibodies will be sufficient. So after say 3 to 4 weeks, your child will be protected from the disease. Now, how long the disease will be protected or that immunity will last, it again depends on the vaccine. Because there are different vaccine having a different antigens, they are having different level of stimulation. So all vaccines are not working with the same efficacy. Suppose when we are talking about say a measles vaccine, it depends when we have given. Suppose if you give at 9 months, then 85% of your population will be seroconverted. So if you give earlier, it will be lesser. If you did later, so this depends on which vaccine, when it has been given, and suppose you have given a vaccination today. So vaccine antibody may last for some time depending upon different vaccines. So suppose hepatitis A, it is a very strong antigen which we are giving in a vaccine. So usually it gives a lifelong protection. Hepatitis B, 3 doses. If you give at monthly interval, then almost you are throughout the life. And at the other end, if you see influenza vaccine, because the virus vaccine is there, and because virus they get changed every time, so we have to go for vaccines every year. So the vaccine immunity lasts for 6 months to 12 months. So it depends on which vaccines you are giving, how we are giving, and what is the schedule, whether you finish the whole course or not. That is important. Because if you give a half course, you need a boosting. Suppose DPT, you need a booster at 1.5 years, you need a booster at 4.5 years, you need a booster at 10 years. So if you don't boost up properly, what is boosting? You start with it and then again you give a push after say 2 to 3 years. when the immunity antibody is going down, again you push, it will go faster. So it depends on which particular vaccines and how you are giving.
Okay. Thank you so much, Dr. Chetan. Dr. Kundu Abhilasha Sharma from Mumbai, she's asking like, can you get a disease from the vaccine that's supposed to prevent it? And why do some vaccines have live pathogens and others have killed pathogens?
So it will depend upon why do some have live pathogens. The technique of manufacturing the vaccine is quite different. With some diseases, we take live pathogens. The the utility of live pathogens is such that what we do, we remove the virulence of the pathogen, that we remove the capacity of the pathogen to cause disease, but we retain the immunogenicity, that means the capacity to produce antibodies. Live pathogens will act like a live virus itself. They will multiply in your body, and as they multiply in your body and behave like a true infection, you need less amount of boosters for live pathogens, and there your protection will be throughout the life. Regarding what you have asked, do vaccines themselves cause disease? Vaccines usually themselves, they never cause disease, because this live pathogen, they have been cultured, subcultured at times for 30 or 40 times. So you are growing the organism and then again growing in another medium, again growing. So in this way, you completely take out the capacity to produce the disease. So the chances of having a disease following vaccination is almost zero. What might happen? Your child might not respond to the vaccine. So we call it the vaccine is not taken up. That's the reason measles being a live vaccine or chickenpox being a live vaccine, we again repeat it after few months because it is not taken up. So there lies the problem. But never a vaccine itself will cause a disease.
Or
Okay. Thank-
sometimes you might be already got infection with the disease, and you are in incubation period, and you are given the vaccination, then you get the disease, you will feel that even with the vaccination you got the this thing disease. So it is not
Because
because of the vaccine, but already you got infected, there was an incubation
uh,
period, it was to come out. So that is one more
vaccine
reason.
takes some time to give protection, and by the time the vaccine starts its protective efficacy, the disease itself might manifest. But these are situation which is almost never seen.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Thank you so much, doctors. Dr. Chetan, we have a question from Ishita Kiran. She's from Chennai. Like, what if her baby has a cold or fever or is taking antibiotics? So, can she get them vaccinated?
Now, this is very important question from Ishita Kiran, because these are the very common myths in the society that my child is having some cough, cold, so whether I can give the vaccination because he is not well. See, the vaccination, there is no such contraindication for vaccination unless your child is very sick. Now, as far as antibiotics is concerned, antibiotic per se is not going to affect anything, the outcome of your vaccine effect. So you can very well give it. But the thing is, why antibiotic is been given, that is very important. If the patient is very sick and is under treatment, or then only we can provide. Otherwise, routine cough, cold, diarrhea, vomiting, like nothing, it is not going to affect your vaccine outcome. So you that should not, hold yourself. You should not hold yourself from vaccinating the child, because the timely vaccination, as we have given the enough importance that we have to give timely vaccination, otherwise that cold cough will go away, but you come up with some other infection which we would have prevented with the proper vaccination and timely vaccination. So I think there is not a contraindication, we can very well give it. You can ask your
Mrs.
pediatrician, they will guide you.
Mrs. Kiran, I want to add another point. It has been seen kids, especially if they are less than 5 years old, we expect 5 or 6 attacks of viral
Yes.
infection in a year. So in a year, if the child has a 5 or 6 of viral infection, they will either suffer from cough, cold, and at times little amount of fever. Then if you postpone your vaccine for this trivial reason, then I think you have to start your first vaccine after the age of 5 years. And by the time you have missed the bus and the child will develop the disease. So don't get disheartened by little amount of cough and cold. Most of these cough and cold, they does not require any treatment as such. Take the child to a doctor, and most of the doctors will give the vaccines.
Correct.
Thank you so much, Dr. Kundu. I hope the Ishita Kiran is now in relief. Yeah. So, like Dr. Kundu, we have a question from Kalyani. She's from Bangalore. That do we need to take any precautionary measures for any number of days once the baby is vaccinated?
No, it's very important. Supposing you are giving two separate vaccines,
Hmm.
then you need not give any gap. But if you are giving the same antigen, there should be a gap of minimum 4 to 6 weeks between the two antigens. It would be further better if you give a gap of 8 weeks. But we don't give that much gap because the chances of having the disease is much high in our country. So if you take the same vaccines, usually we give a gap of 1 month. Because if you push the antigens very frequently, then your immune system is not going to act that much. So that's the reason why we give DPT vaccine at the age of 6 weeks, 10 weeks, and 14 weeks, giving a gap of 4 weeks in between. If you give, supposing the same vaccine at 6 weeks, 8 weeks, and 10 weeks, your child will not produce enough antibodies. So, gap should be given in certain vaccines, but for using two separate vaccines, you need not give a gap. And vaccines can be administered simultaneously. Two live vaccines can be administered simultaneously, but if you want to give two live vaccines, say one today, another tomorrow, you cannot do that. Then again, you have to give a gap. So these
Dr.
are the
Kundu,
things you need not worry. It's your doctor which will take care of these things.
Dr. Kundu, here she wanted to ask, does she need to and take any precautionary measure for any number of days
Yeah.
once she
Any
baby
number
is
of
vaccinated?
your doctor
No, no,
will
no.
give you the date.
What
But any
precautionary
number
measures she has to take? Any
of
precautionary measures?
precautionary measures you don't. Your doctor can give
Yeah.
a combination vaccine, 5 or 6 vaccines. So you don't have to take a special precautionary measure.
Okay, okay.
It's up to the doctor. He will decide when to give and what are the things to be given.
Yeah. So basically, Kalyani wanted to know, like, once her kid is vaccinated, so do she need to take extra care, as in like any precautionary measures for her kid?
No, no. Once you give the vaccine, then you at times you develop little bit of fever, you little bit of pain, and this thing. And usually we always write after giving vaccine. Supposing if your child has fever, if your child has pain, what you should do and what are the not. So these are the part of the entire vaccine workup also.
Okay. Thank you so much, Dr. Kundu. Dr. Chetan, we have a question from Mrs. Udaya Naik. She's from Mumbai. That what are the vaccines that are must for an expecting mom and toddlers?
So expecting moms, that means they are pregnant woman, is if I
Yes.
understand,
Yes. Yes.
right? That's what I told. That's a very important group of the adults, like a pregnant lady. They should be given a Tdap vaccine because we know that tetanus toxoid vaccine has been given for the expecting mother during the pregnancy to prevent the tetanus from occurring to her newborn child. So now we are giving a Tdap vaccine. That is a combination vaccine of tetanus, diphtheria, and pertussis, and that is must during the 27 to 36 weeks of her pregnancy, so last trimester. So that is very important because that will give not only protection to the baby child or a mother, but also to protection to their incoming newborn. And second thing is influenza vaccine. Again, to protect the lady or the pregnant lady as well as the newborn who is going to come. So these two are very important. And as I told, one more vaccine that is there no contraindication, that is rabies vaccine. If she gets a bite with animal bite, then they should be given a rabies. So these three are very important vaccines during the pregnancy to
And
take care of that. Yeah.
and also to add to it, MMR vaccine should be taken because
Yeah.
congenital rubella, what Chetan was saying, that's the deadly disease. If your unborn child has had it also inside the mother's womb, then nothing much to can be done once the baby is born. So MMR vaccine, chickenpox, these are the diseases which can be transferred by the mother to her baby inside the womb. So MMR, hepatitis B, and chickenpox, these three vaccines also you should.
That is before pregnancy.
Yes,
This is before planning for pregnancy.
pre-pregnancy. So if
Pre-pregnancy.
you haven't taken these vaccines, so before planning your pregnancy, make
Yes.
sure that you take these three vaccines.
Correct.
Thank you so much, doctors, for the details. And Dr. Kundu, we have a question from Mrs. Chetna Mehra. She's from Indore. That is there any all-in-one vaccine?
I don't know. No, right of now we don't have in all-in vaccine, but tremendous space which this vaccine and immunization science is going on. So in the near future, now we have come with RNA vaccine, DNA vaccine. I think in the near future there will be vaccines which you don't have to inject, which you might able to eat, and which will be so in coming future. Yes, we'll have that magic thing that we need not make the child cry, and we can give everything in one go, and that too not by injection.
Nice. We are waiting for that day actually.
The wish of every parent, every parent.
Yes.
Yeah. So, Dr. Chetan, we also have a question from Mrs. Vandana Mehra. She's from Delhi. Like, during this corona phase, how safe it is to take the vaccines?
Corona
See,
vaccine
during
or other vaccines?
I think other
Which one?
vaccines they are talking about.
The
Because
vaccines.
corona vaccine now everybody is afraid, so will be taking. But yeah, during this corona phase, the concern is because nowadays so many COVID patient positives. So if your child is not having COVID or your family members are none of them are having COVID, then as Dr. Kundu said, with prior appointment and proper precautions, you can go to doctor and get a child vaccinated timely. Now, suppose you have somebody in the family who is COVID positive. There, the issue is because if you nobody is there because they are quarantined, they cannot come out of it. So, the after the complete recovery of 14 days, I think they can go out after their quarantine period is over. They can take the child to the vaccination center and get it done. Suppose now the pediatric COVID is also very frequent. Suppose your child has got the COVID, then also after the 15 days of recovery, you can restart your all the vaccination because COVID, what we have found is they are not causing any immunosuppression. So then doesn't become the child is not unless you have been given a very high dose of steroid, which is we are not going to give in a child very frequently, very rare case we are giving, or some drugs. So as such, COVID occurring in the child, once child recovers after 15 days of recovery, you can go for the vaccination. But yes, taking the precautions and you should go vaccine. So during corona phase also, vaccination must continue. As Dr. Kundu has given the example of the Ebola outbreak, because once the COVID is over, will be fully flooded with so many diseases which can be prevented, could have been prevented with the vaccination.
Okay. Thank you so much, Dr. Chetan. Dr. Kundu, we have one question from Mrs. Kirti. She's from Surat. That what happens if there is a significant gap between vaccines? Do we need to start from the beginning again?
I have already told before, because you have memory system inside your body, and even the small kid, they also have a memory system. So once you have given the vaccine, your cells or your these are known as T cells. They never forget the antigen or the vaccine they have received. They will remember for the rest of the life. So under no circumstances we are going to start afresh. We'll start from where you have left.
Okay, thank you so much, Dr. Kundu. And Dr. Chetan, Mrs. Sandhya Patil from Nasik, she's asking that whatever vaccines we have talked about, are all these vaccines available easily in India?
Yes, see, India is the largest manufacturing hub for the vaccination. You know that we have the companies, we are now global. So we have all the vaccines available, and now whatever vaccine is available in any other country, it is available in our country. So whatever vaccines we are discussing, they all are. If it is available in the world, I think it is almost everywhere. It is available in India. So there is no restriction of it. We have all the vaccines which are available, so we can go for all this vaccination.
Oh, thank you so much. And Dr. Kundu, we have a question from Mrs. Charulata. She's from Bangalore. Like her husband works for an MNC and he needs to keep traveling to different places, and hence she also needs to travel with him. So in this case, do they need to take the dosage at different hospitals, India and abroad?
Yes, yes. Those are the cases these days we are facing. There are so many people who are coming back working from home. So there lies the importance that you should not lose your passport. Just by seeing the passport, we can tell you what are the vaccines needed, how far your child protection, and we can even prioritize. So in these COVID days, if you find a child has not taken, say, number of vaccines, So what we do, we prioritize the vaccines. First of all, we give those vaccines which specially protect your respiratory system. First of all, we'll prioritize, we'll give flu vaccine if it is not taken, and we'll give pneumococcal conjugate vaccine. And there are certain vaccines which can wait in this condition. For example, we can HPV vaccine can wait, hepatitis A for vaccine, but other vaccines should come. So if you have the passport, we have the liberty to know what your child needs, what is the immunization status or protection status of the child, and what vaccines should be needed given earlier, and what vaccines can wait for little bit of time. So carry the passport completed and never ever lose your vaccine card because you have to travel here and there so often.
Okay. Thank you so much, Dr. Kundu. And Dr. Chetan, we have a question from Mrs. Pooja Shimpi. She's from Goa. That how safe are these vaccines?
Whatever vaccines which are available in the government sector, private sector, they all are safe because there is a system of manufacturing of vaccine, and there is a like DCGI or a government of India. There are some rules and regulations before that the vaccine should that come to the market. So the safety is the most important issue which every company, any government, and even doctor will be concerned of, because when you give a vaccination to the person who is fully healthy, definitely safety will come first. So all these vaccines have been first tested for the safety and immunogenicity. That means whether they are able to give the antibody or not. So the first phase will be safety. And even after the vaccine is been rolled out in the market, there will be a post-licensure study which is continuously going on for the safety of that particular vaccine. So all the vaccines are safe. At the same time, I would like to say, if suppose there is a side effect like a swelling or a fever, that doesn't make the child the vaccine unsafe. It is safe, but there are expected complications or some side effect of the vaccines. So nothing in the world is 100% sure. So if you go out of your house, you cannot be sure that you will come out just like that. So it's just like that. Once in a while, there are some incidences of the side effect or something will happen. But overall, this safety of this vaccine is established, and then only it comes to the market, and then we will be giving it. So you should be rest assured that all vaccines are absolutely safe.
And also, you should think that if you don't take the vaccine, the danger that will with the disease is much, much, much above than what the vaccine might cause. Little bit of pain or fever or little bit swelling. It is minuscule as compared to the disease itself. So don't worry about these things.
Right. Thank you so much, Dr. Kundu and Dr. Chetan Trivedi. We will just take a last question now. This question is from Khushbu Pune. So she is asking that can babies' immune systems handle so much of vaccines, so many vaccines? Actually. So
I have told before that the immune system is such it can handle thousands of bacteria, virus at the same time. So it is built along with this. It is the virus and bacteria which have first come, and then human being has come then. So his system is geared or tuned to face those things. So you don't have to worry that giving so much vaccine will overburden the system and my child will sick. Yes, they are capable enough to handle all the vaccines and all the antigens which are being given at the same time. So don't worry, stay safe and give the vaccines. Your child will be also safe.
thank you so much, Dr. Kundu, and thank you so much, Dr. Trivedi, for answering all the questions and giving your insightful expert advice. So, just so wrapping up, do you want to say or convey anything to moms out there or parents out there, Dr. Chetan?
So, yes, Chetan.
Yeah, it's like, first of all, this is a wonderful experience, I must say, because all the moms, the questions which are coming up from the audience is amazingly good. So really, it is thought-provoking, and it will be useful to all the listeners. So that is good that I will just congratulate all of you for this wonderful discussion. And I must say that always it is better to, prevention is better than cure. We all know that. We should be keeping in that in mind. So as far as possible, if there is rain, you will definitely go out with the either umbrella or the raincoat. You will never go out and then you think that I will be, saved. You are going to get wet. So always be prepared for that. And the only thing is, that's what timely vaccination. If you go out If it is a rainy season, you think I'll take an umbrella from just 10 minutes away my friend's house before that the rain comes. So you should have everything ready with you. So vaccination is something that you should be having a ready, and that will help you to prevent and protect your child from all the vaccine preventable diseases. So stay happy, stay safe, and enjoy the life.
Thank you so much,
So,
Dr. Chetan. And Dr. Kundu, yes,
Kundu,
please.
yes, my great thanks goes to all the audiences which has asked us wonderful questions. My thanks also goes to GSK and Hilofi for arranging such a beautiful session. And for the parents, my tailpiece will be, if you are safe, your child is safe. So stay safe during the COVID period. Take the necessary precautions which has been time and again propagated by Government of India. So do take those proper steps and your child will be safe. Don't forget the vaccines that the child should take. And with this, bye bye and thank you for your nice interaction.
Thank you so much, doctors. Thank you so much for this helpful advice and encouraging parents actually to opt for timely vaccination. Thank you so much for joining us today. Thank
Thank you.
you.
Thanks.
Thank you so much.
Namaskar.
Thank
Namaskar.
you.